I feel like we live our treaty every day by being Indian and by trying to live our traditional ways and protect our fish and our berries and our roots and our deer and elk. We still practice those ways, and we haven't lost that. And the treaty is protected. That has protected our treaty by the way that we carry our life. And I think just being the treaty is our protection, that probably the only protection that we have as Native Americans.
Hi, I'm Kimberlie Acosta with IndianCountryTV.com, and I'm here with Trina Wheeler, Delbert Wheeler's wife, and they're from Yakama. And I wanted you to see if you could tell us about your family and your culture.
Well, we are all from the Yakama Nation, and we're all enrolled. There's 12 children, 12 grandchildren.
And there's 14 different communities within Yakama, correct? And you're in White Swan, right?
We're 14 different tribes and bands. We originate from 14 different tribes and bands. I'm from the Columbia River, which would be Wasco and Wishcombe, and Delbert Skimpaw and Klickitat, I think. So there's 14 bands, but we all are one nation under Yakama.
And you guys you raise a big family, which is unheard of a lot in this day and age. Mm-hmm. And you're very successful, working hard as a team, as a husband and wife, with you taking care of the family while he's out there creating these different businesses, mm-hmm. and bringing back to the community. Can you talk about what you guys have done that has helped the community with jobs and the different things you guys have done in the community?
Well, we currently employ probably at least 100 people in the Wheeler logging, and that was the very first business that was started by Delbert from a young man, 17 years old. And from there, several businesses were started, but that was the root of all the businesses, was Wheeler logging. We have King Mountain, we have a store, Carl's Corner, and for the community, we recently just opened a pizza deli in White Swan, and that was mainly for the children here in our community to have somewhere to go, because there's nothing here. We have nothing to do, and we have a high alcohol and drug here on our reservation, but I guess more in White Swan. And so we've kind of made that a place where the kids can go, and we have computers where they can do their homework, get on the internet, search for things, play games, and also have a place to eat that's cheap enough for everyone to afford out here. And then after hours, what we don't sell, we give to the kids who don't have anything. So we have kids that line up out there waiting for like the leftover pizza that's in the warmers. And so
not only raising your 12 children and having your grandchildren around, which is another 12, you bring in children from the community. Can you share with us about that?
Well, we have a lot of family members and our kids as friends who are here, and some of them come from broken families or just raised by grandparents, and there's hardly anything to do out here, so they kind of all congregate to our home, because we're probably the only home that has a swimming pool, and we have a little basketball court and an arena for our horses, and so we kind of have a place for all the kids to come and feel at home and feel safe from other things that may be going on in their homes or in the community that is sad, and so they like coming here, and we just let them come here for comfort or to eat. A lot of them come just to eat. So.
And you guys make some big feasts. I know we had with the cookout today. I was just amazed at the pots and the pans and how big everything is, and I'm like,
Yeah, everything's buffet style here. We never know who's gonna come in from town or just pop in. So we always have lots of food, and our doors are pretty much open to everyone.
can you tell us about when you were growing up, how it was, you know, what your culture was that a part of your life?
We grew up pretty traditional. My family, we grew up in the longhouse traditions as in the washut, and then my dad's side was the shaker. So we grew up believing in our traditions and raised up in the longhouse. But I can't say that we had lots and lots of kids in our home, or that we were able to give as much as me and Delbert do. We struggled ourselves. My mom and dad weren't rich. We didn't grow up in a big home with lots of money, so we just made it from day to day. I think my mom had 2 jobs, and she worked at the BIA all her life, and my dad worked as a foreman at the Burlington Northern Railroad. So we were like, you know, we didn't have.
Did you guys fish?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the tradition of fishing in Yakama?
A big part of our lives was the treaty fishing. That's what we all did. My whole family treaty fishes.
What kind
of
fish?
On the Columbia River for salmon, and that's their livelihood. They have no other means but to fish and you know.
How is that done on the Columbia River, the fishing?
We do it scaffold, pole fishing, or nets, and so and it's seasonal. So you know, you gather as much as you can, you sell as much as you can, and you keep, you know, you try to survive from whatever fish you catch during that season, and that's your livelihood. That's what you have to, you know, you either dry your fish, can your fish, or prepare that to make it throughout the year.
Have you shared that with your children?
Yes, my family, they know how to fish, mend nets, make dipping nets, and they grew up knowing their traditions. Their dad is
a big hunter, correct?
A big hunter.
You guys go hunting?
We hunt a lot. We go up on horseback and we stay up there for a couple months during bugling time, and we prepare our own meat, skin our own elk, dry and cut our own fish and dry our fish, we do everything ourselves, so our kids are able to understand and know the traditional ways of our people.
Tell us about your husband, Delbert. What kind of man is Delbert? A father, as a husband?
Delbert is a very, very intelligent, smart man. He came from nothing, and he built life for not just us, but for the community. And he's well-rounded in business, in the business arena, but he's still down to earth, and he understands the needs of all people, no matter big or small. He doesn't change much, and from the smallest person to the biggest person, he's still the same person, teaching the same things that he's learned in his life. He's a very strong, a real strong father and role model for our family and for our community.
You guys seem very close,
yeah.
You know, and that's another thing that's hard with everything that's happening in the world today, with so many kids being displaced and not having that strong family structure. I really see that here, watching them. You guys do rodeos and you guys ride horses. Can you talk about that?
We probably about 5 years ago, we decided to take over the Treaty Day rodeo, and we sponsor the whole rodeo, and it's for the community, so that the kids are in the communities and all over Indian country. They all come to this rodeo, and it's free. We don't charge, and we give saddles and buckles and and we just try to make it the biggest event to come to our town, and everybody walks to our rodeo from town, because not a lot of people have cars and ways or means to even get into a rodeo to pay that fee. So, it's a big thing. It's something big here for our community, for our nation.
With all the success that you guys have had, taking care of your family and your businesses and helping create jobs here, you guys also do so much more between the pizza deli and the rodeo. And you want to share with us some of the other things you do? I think that you talked about a Christmas.
We have a Christmas giveaway. We give to the community of White Swan and also other communities. Whoever comes out here, we do flyers, and we let people know that we're going to have Santa Claus, and we're going to do a Christmas giveaway. They kind of know, and they're wait outside. I mean, the little kids, I mean, it's cold because it's in the middle of winter, and there's kids just lined up waiting to get a coat or gloves or a hat because they don't have one, or a bike or a Christmas present because they don't get Christmas. So I guess that's important, and to us to be able to give back to our community.
And can you share with us the importance of what the 1855 treaty means to you from the Yakama Nation?
I think the treaty means to me, because I feel like we live our treaty every day by being Indian, and by trying to live our traditional ways and protect our fish and our berries and our roots and our deer and elk. We still practice those ways, and we haven't lost that. And the treaty is protected. That has protected our treaty by the way that we carry our life. And I think just being the treaty is our protection. That probably the only protection that we have as Native Americans. And I believe in it. I believe that that's our law and our way that everybody should see our treaty, just as if they would see a treaty of China or Russia. When they sign the treaty for us, it should be, protected and followed, because we protect it and follow it. We just need the outside to believe in it like we do.
And you help fund the school, is that correct?
Yeah, we help a lot of schools, a lot of the events, sports. We buy basketball shoes, uniforms, coats. We put in fundraisers. We throw tournaments. We do whatever we can to help kids that are in need, because there's not a lot of kids that can afford to, buy a pair of shoes or a jacket. And so we try to do things to help our community, to keep them away from drugs and alcohol, or to give them a way out in something that's productive, and they know that there's something else out there that they can do that doesn't have to be surrounded with drugs or alcohol. That there is a way out, and education and sports and doing something, for your community is there, and helping out. It's there for everyone.
And all this comes from a beginning of a man who dropped out of school after the 8th grade.
Yeah.
Started his first business, when he was 16 or 17?
17.
17 years old. And then all of a sudden, you guys are married 20-some years? Mm-hmm. And you've created this beautiful thing for your community where you're giving back. And what do you see in the future? What are your hopes and your dreams for the future as you guys continue to grow to be able to help the community?
I think I see us being able to help the community in ways that are bigger, like maybe with a drug and alcohol center, a community pool, or our community outreach program, you know, something that's big, a Boys and Girls Center, something that, you know, that everybody can enjoy instead of just coming to our home, because it, you know, it's big to people here, but it's, you know, it's not as big as if it was a center or something that, you know, is big enough like a city would have. And that's what we need. We need to have, you know, something bigger for our Indian children to be able to go to and learn and understand. And they're having a hard time because they're on drugs and alcohol, or they're lost in the system, so they don't want to live. And they have, you know, there's lots of suicides here, just in our town alone. And so being able to have something in the future for them to be able to, you know, go to or free themselves to a better life is what they need, or to know to stay in school, a counseling center. We need, you know, we need a lot. You know, someday we could probably do that. You know, we could probably help with trying to put something like that together. Because we're pretty small right now, but maybe, you know, in the future it'll get bigger, and our dreams will be bigger.
But you have accomplished so much more than people could only dream of. But you've been willing to share it with so many people. Where a lot of people wouldn't do what you guys are doing. You know, a lot of people don't take in children just who have no place to go. You know, so I really commend you guys on that. If there's one message that you can leave today for everyone out there, what would that message be?
I think it would be to follow your dreams, get an education, because you need an education in today's world, and find your way out no matter what, because, you know, he's an example of what you can make happen. And then give back. Give back. Don't forget where you come from.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. We go up on horseback and we stay up there for a couple months during bugling time, and we prepare our own meats, skin our own elk, dry and cut our own fish and dry our fish, can. We do everything ourselves, so our kids are able to understand and know the traditional ways of our people.